Ready? Yeah. Yeah, Dave had to shave his beard, so now he doesn't care about anything.
Yeah.
And,
I
and
care
that's
about
like,
anything for the next month until it comes back.
yeah. And that's like punk rock nihilism anyway. So it is punk rock. It's punk rock safety, episode 22. I've tried really hard, boys, to figure out what episode we're on.
You put it
I
in.
feel like I've done a pretty shit job of it mostly. So
Well, yeah,
it's episode
that's
22.
normal.
Base state.
Yeah.
Episode 22, which is ridiculous, really. I mean, it's like half a year.
Fuck,
A
yeah.
bit more than that, I think, if you do the math. Like, I think 26 episodes is a year, so 22 must be a little bit more than.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
It's every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. You know what? It's so fun. It feels like it's every week.
Yeah, it does feel like it's.
Dave's here for the maths.
Yeah.
More than one of them.
Dr. David Proven in the clutch with the math.
Yeah. Celebrating his 12th birthday, by the way.
I know.
As you
Congrats,
can see
buddy.
from his baby face.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And, Ben, look at you sitting there all collared shirt, co-defendants, like can't even do a little bit of math.
That's my excuse every time I have any like decent clothing on is I'm dressed up like the co-defendants.
That's it.
Or Rancid sometimes used to wear.
Yeah.
But then, man, it's like real ska.
Yeah, that gets ska real fast.
And I'm not going to be accused of being ska.
Or Mighty Bosstones.
Oh boy, come on, easy, man, take it easy. Yeah, there's no ska behind me. I've got Red City Radio behind me today, and they're cool, man. It's sort of like a little bit more like Bad Religion style, probably punk, but super cool. Give them a listen.
What do you call them?
Bad Religion style?
No. Like, what is this? The one that was the org whatever punk?
Yeah, I've been told by the cool kids it's called orgcore punk, which I think is for organic, but it could be organizational. I mean, I'm going to assume that it is. Fits right into our podcast discussion. I don't know, man. They're in Oklahoma City. I feel like maybe organic punk is not really their jam. Yeah, it sounds like a Portland. That's like a Melbourne thing.
I tell you what is their jam? Basketball.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Oklahoma City, you mean? Or are you talking about? Yeah. It's about time. You guys might actually win something this time, huh?
It might be about time for some of those Warriors people to retire.
Now just a basketball podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably, honestly, an improvement.
Welcome to NBA Today.
NBA tomorrow.
I was on a call with James Ward the other day.
I thought you were going to say James Reason. I thought,
well, me and Jim Reason were talking. No, and he was talking about the podcast, and he said he's the fourth listener, and he said we needed a T-shirt that said "fourth listener," like or something like that. I thought that was a good idea.
That actually would be a really cool T-shirt.
Yeah.
What do we have now? We have Fuck Safety Make Money, not just the T-shirt.
Oh, we got the slides.
We got the slides. We're sliding it in.
I got those on the way. I'm excited.
Yeah. There's 100 different things you can buy from the merch store, and about one thing getting sold a month.
Yeah.
It's a cool hobby, though. You know, it's you want to have something for everybody.
Oh yeah, Ben's favorite thing in the world is WhatsApping us about what do you think about this, guys? And then 5 minutes later, it's on the merch store.
It's not work. Yeah, well, I'm not really asking what you think. It's just
just wanted to give you a heads up what's going on,
letting you know that it's going on the merch store. Well, the slides are important, man, for when you're like creeping around the house a little bit. You want people to know.
Yeah, when it's 15 degrees out for you at the moment.
Oh, fuck. It was -6 when I checked last, Fahrenheit. which is cold. I have to go back to Colorado to the warm weather. I'm at the it's gonna have to look at this Metropolitan Airports Commission. Someone's gonna listen and they'll correct me. Oh, here we go. Metropolitan Airports Commission in Minneapolis, sunny Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, beautiful.
It is sunny and really, really fucking cold.
The old MAC, hey?
The Mac, and I told them every time I say it, I think of the movie, like the old pimp movie, The Mac from like 1973 or something. Oh yeah, man, it's like a halfway true story about a super famous pimp in LA. And it's called The Mac, and they call it The Mac. And I thought, man, you guys are missing so many marketing opportunities here.
Was Ron Jeremy in that movie?
I mean, could be, I guess. No. Richard Pryor actually is in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a solid move, man.
Solid.
Excellent.
What, David, what you got going on?
I've chased myself down a 1980s, again heavily pixelated, Bad Religion pick.
Oh shit, that's cool.
How good is the All Ages album? Just quietly,
dude. Bad Religion is I was listening to the Bad Religion Christmas album the other day.
Were you?
Of course you were.
It's so good. Yeah, man, you got to be festive, you know.
Dude, I have listened to Suffer probably like 30 times in the last 2 months. I don't know why. It's just heavy rotation for me. I don't know why. I'm just jonesing for it. It's a great record.
Good music. Yeah. There's a lot of suffering, Ron.
There's a lot of suffering in this world.
Yes, there is.
As we welcome 2025.
Well, and Ron just keeps thinking about getting fired after that last episode too. So,
oh man, it's on. Let's hopefully.
Well, if it drops what Christmas Day it dropped, and then pretty much I guess by the time you're listening to this, Ron is looking for work. So shout out any of our 11 listeners who have something going. I don't know, team assistant, someone to enter your internet database. Ron's all over.
Yeah, I get.
Well, and probably trainable
auditor.
on audits. We'll get him out doing a lot of auditing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I need.
Behavioral safety. He's a whiz.
Oh my God. Yeah. The observation program. Forget about it. You need someone to blame?
Done.
Like, you can blame me and I can blame others. Like I'm a blame aficionado.
So much blame. Who's behind you, Ron?
This is Boy Sets Fire.
I think you'd say Boys to Men, which would have been a pretty deep cut there.
That would have been fucking awesome. Boy Sets Fire, kind of like early 2000s punk core kind of thing. I don't know. Fucking.
Did you ever listen to the hardcore playlist I sent you?
Yes, I listened to the hardcore playlist you sent me.
Fucking good, isn't it?
And it was fucking good.
Yeah.
It rocked my face off, but I put it back on for this podcast.
Sweet.
You're welcome.
So, and by the time this comes out, right, Ron's looking for work. I'll tell you what the problem is, though, with that.
You're the problem.
Yes.
In addition to me being the problem, is Ron doesn't take safety seriously enough.
That was a good segue. I just have to say.
I'm a fucking segue master.
Man.
If Ron took safety more seriously, he wouldn't be in this predicament.
This is true. Which
we were talking about this 30 seconds before hitting the record button. Because I was told that I don't take safety seriously enough.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I think I don't know. I think there's a confusion between having enjoying what you do or having fun at work and it being work. And I don't know, maybe that's cultural. I don't know if that happens other places. In the US, we're really good at this sort of work yourself to death culture. So maybe I don't know, David. What's that look like in Australia? Are you allowed to have fun at work or no?
I mean, you can have fun at work, but you can't have fun if you're in the safety department because that shit's too serious to like. You
It's
can't joke and laugh about about that. And I think it's an interesting topic because I think it's important to think about what do people feel or when they hear the word safety, or even feel when they hear, oh, the safety department's coming to spend a day with us, or I've got to go to a safety meeting. What do you think our people feel when they think about safety, and if they feel, oh fuck, here we go again?
Yeah.
What does that say about your engagement around the topic, or you know?
Well, I had a meeting. Well, it wasn't even a meeting. I was just walking around talking to some folks, but we sat down for a second. These guys said, yeah, but we've done this stuff before. Like somebody came and they were supposed to be the safety person. And that guy just came over and told us to put more cones because our cones had to be every 6 feet.
Yeah,
And we're like, do you want us to put cones out or do you want us to do work? And I said, holy shit, man, can you guys hang on a couple hours? I need to hit Granger and go buy a shitload of cones because I did not bring any.
yeah.
I think that's it, right? Like they were primed for just some other dude to come tell them where to put cones.
So many cones.
So many. It's just not enough. It can't be enough cones.
You shave your beard and you literally become 12.
Look at him.
Oh.
It's 6 a.m. He's bright red and beardless.
Yeah.
It's just
bright red and beardless.
Some of us still do the dangerous work, right? My daughter's favorite song at the moment is No Effects Perfect Government, right? And so that probably says
such good parenting.
About my parenting. But you fucking cats get so fat, right? Where you're just sitting at your desk and you don't do the hard work anymore. Me, meanwhile, I'm underground wading my way through uranium mines and wearing respirators.
I don't think you're wading through the blood of injured workers.
Yeah, well, and trying to avoid wading through the blood of injured people, right? Like some of us are still taking this shit seriously.
Oh, you're supposed to avoid that? Shit.
I'm still taking this shit seriously while you guys are fucking just, all beer and Skittles and fucking your big beards and sitting at your fucking desks and doing
beer and Skittles.
It's all beer and Skittles.
But like, what were you gonna say? Go.
I was just gonna say, Ron, I've seen you do a talk or two at a conference.
Yeah.
And you seem to be having fun. Why is that the worst and why are you it?
Well, I am whatever it is, I am the worst at it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's no, so I mean, to me, I think in general, as I'm listening to this conversation, there's two questions that I think are both interesting and obviously related, but they are separate in some sense. One is
that's a long lead in, dude.
I know, right?
So many cones.
So many fucking cones. I'm gonna is it okay to have fun at work? And B, is it okay to have fun at safety?
Well, Ron doesn't have any more work, so it's probably I don't know if he's a good ass.
I just want to know, just in case that becomes an interview question.
I mean,
no, it's a good point.
Question one has to be yes, and question two has to be no, right?
Well, so are there some parts of the organization that it's just off limits to have fun?
Yeah.
Like what?
Finance and safety. I stood up at these.
What about HR?
Yeah, what about fuck safety make money? Yeah, HR.
I stood up at an extended leadership team workshop a couple of months ago, and the morning of the second day, and the first session was like the chief financial officer or head of finance talking about finance stuff and IT system stuff and all this sort of whatever. And so I get up mid-morning to do the safety session, and I stood up and I went, "Oh fuck, you guys must be loving today. We've got finance, IT, and now safety." Like, if this is not the best, this is not the best half-day conference you've ever been to. I don't know.
Such a good lineup. So many cones.
So many fucking cones. Like, oh my God, the cones.
So many people are just like, kill me now. But okay, story time. Okay. So I was in an organization once. And one of the departments had I guess a worse safety record or safety stats, whatever you call those things, where you count incidents.
Sure.
The worst stats for the company. And the senior leadership team had concluded that the reason that that department had the worst safety record was because there were several of the leadership team in that part of the business rode motorcycles. And they decided that
Oh, I'm fucked.
now here we go, Ben. You'll like this. And so they decided that because these people were so cavalier with their own lives, riding motorcycles on the weekend, that they weren't good safety leaders. And if they just leaders into that, if they got leaders into the business that didn't ride motorcycles, then everything would become much safer. So you can't be a good safety leader if you have fun on the weekends riding motorcycles, right? Because clearly you don't care about your own or other people's lives.
That's my problem. I'm shocked it took so long for me to hear that from somebody. What a fucking waste of a career, honestly.
Well, that's probably why people don't take you seriously, Ben.
Yeah, she had a nickel for every time someone said that.
Among many other reasons. I had a picture the other day of, because we were trying to talk about, risk tolerability, right? Like what's okay, who decides, what. So I showed this picture of, before I was fat, I did other cool stuff other than just eating. And it was a picture of me ice climbing back in the day, hanging off this ice wall. And it just said, is this okay? Like, I'm a good example, I think, of a lot of dumb shit, forklift driving included.
You're alive, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I just said, is this okay?
Did you die?
And people said, well, I mean, I don't know. And they didn't know it was me in the pictures. I don't know. I didn't know. Probably not. Looks dangerous. But the guy has a rope. I said at the end of it, well, is it okay? Because that was me. Is it okay for a safety person to do that? Almost everybody said no. Safety people should know better.
Know better.
What does that, to me, and I don't know, we've talked about this a little bit before. To me, if you don't have a relationship with risk, it's really tough to fucking talk about it from any place of understanding. So if you're not out sort of dealing with the dynamic nature of risk. I mean, Ron said we don't need safety people anyway, so I guess it's not really a problem. But if a good safety person,
I'm unemployed.
And Ben doesn't want anything to do with stamp collectors.
Yeah.
Technically, Green doesn't, but I sure like that saying.
But so do you need to have exposure to the risk or just a respect of it? And so because I'm not going to go ice climbing anytime soon. But
no, I would
so probably not.
I think in general, to me, my general stance is anything can be made safe, however we define that term, right? It's just a function of what are the things we're doing to make it safe. Like the thing itself, everything has risk. Going to fucking bed can be dangerous,
Oh boy.
What's going on in your bed?
Depends on who you're going with.
Whoa, Nelly.
Dave's part of a whole new demographic now. He's got rid of that beard.
Oh, buddy.
You can have some of mine.
You have more than enough.
I think so. This whole are we taking safety seriously enough? I think for me sort of boils down to the fact that we don't have mature adult conversations around safety. We're sort of stuck in this whole parent-child kind of relationship dynamic where we're like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, eliminate this, don't do this. without just going,
Yeah.
fuck hell. Like just like to your point, Ron, I guess how are we gonna sort this shit out? Let's talk adult to adult and just fucking sort it out. Like it's not that
I think
hard.
it's a good point because, like, I think an underlying assumption in that you have to take safety seriously in order to do safety well is like what I'm trying to like unpack that in my mind. And the first thing that
Yeah.
pops in my head is that's got to be like that's just you. In order to do safety well, you have to care a lot. Like there has to be like a deep passion and like I have to give a shit a lot about safety, and I'm not convinced that that's really true. Like you can
Here we go.
unpack
Ron
it.
has gone from we don't even need safety people to they don't even, if we have them, they don't even need to give a shit. I mean, this
They
is
don't have
Safety
to give
people, just people
any
in general
shits.
don't need to care. So Ron, if you're hanging on, mate, with your final one right now, this is going on. I'm not even convinced that we even have to care about safety.
Yes.
Ron's
Yeah.
he's just reading his resume right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know why no one's hiring me.
It's so weird. This guy hates everything about it.
Yeah, Ron now sings Christmas carols out on the street corner.
But like the safest, like, so, okay, let's oversimplify this. And like the safest person on earth, the argument would seem to be that like is the person who is the most serious about it and cares the most. And like,
Sure.
that just sounds like utter bullshit to me. Like certainly maybe there's a minimum level of care that you have to give, but
Well, but serious is, I think, seriousness, gravitas, whatever you want to call it, right, is sort of for show. And I think people tend to like leaders in organizations that do seem human and do seem authentic and do seem like they take the time to understand the work. But at the same time we say, okay, well, you can't have an accountant who seems to be having fun, or they're not paying attention. They're not giving it the attention that it needs. Then I don't know. I was sort of dumbfounded. Well, I'm dumbfounded a lot of times, but I didn't know how to respond to that. I think I might have just said, okay. And
yeah,
I still don't
that's how I would
know how to
respond.
respond, right? Like, don't you think you don't take this seriously enough? I don't know what the
One of
right
the
grammar
things
is.
though that like, go ahead, Dave. What were you gonna say?
I was going to tell a story, another random story from my
He's
12,
got good
12
stories.
years
Yeah.
of
Now, what's the
experience
story?
in the world. So involved in reviewing a redo of a safety induction program at one point, and it's for oil and gas drillers. So people who take safety super seriously or pretend to for their organizations anyway. But we did this pilot of this induction, right? And it was all centered around this whole, really caring about safety and going home to your children and taking this stuff really seriously. And you guys can fill in the gaps, right? You can imagine what this induction is kind of like. And, the group that had put it together was kind of thinking, oh, this is fucking awesome. It's super impactful. Everyone's going to be taking safety really seriously after this induction. And we piloted it with a group of drillers, the intended audience. At the end of it, when we're getting feedback, one of the drillers goes, that's a pile of shit. Don't you fucking tell me that I need to care more about my kids, or I need to go home to my family or something like that. I care about my kids, right? I love them. It's got nothing to do with my fucking job. And then he goes, if you want to make a difference to these people, why don't you tell them that, look, you're fucking a dead shit. You've probably dropped out of school. You've got tattoos fucking head to toe. You're working in oil and gas and you're earning $200,000 a year. If you're bad at safety, you can kiss this fucking job goodbye. And he goes, you want to have impact? Just tell people fucking what the real world's really fucking like. And I guess don't think I can care my way to being a good fucking driller, right? Like, and it just, to me, like when we're having this conversation, it just to me goes, we're sort of like so caught up in our own world and our own morality, even of just, if we take this seriously enough, people won't be able to criticize us when things go wrong, right? Because we're really clearly cared about this stuff. Well, I don't kind of care if you care. I care if you fucking do something about it.
1000%.
You know,
Right. Like,
so,
because oftentimes it just, that just boils down to like, you're not safe because you don't fucking care enough or you didn't take it seriously enough.
Yeah.
It's your fault. I don't have any contribution to this. I don't have to do shit.
I care enough.
No, you don't. To fuck you.
No. Sorry, that's the rhetorical.
He was role playing.
The manage. I'm
Oh,
role playing.
sorry, I just had this natural reaction to when Dave says I care
No,
enough.
you
No, you
don't.
don't.
You know that stuff that goes on in your dangerous fucking bedroom? It's role play.
Bedroom risk assessment. That'll be the next episode.
No, please.
But no, so here's another piece to this too that I think is worth mentioning, that is a problem with the idea that safety needs to be taken seriously and that joking or having fun around safety is a problem. It speaks to me to an underlying issue with safety, the safety profession, that we just ignore a whole huge part of life. That's all the good stuff. Like the good stuff isn't safety. So I don't have to engage with it. I don't have to build it. I should actually shun it because it's a problem. Like having fun, joking, all that stuff that which is a normal part of the making a life a good life to live is actually a problem for safety. And that to me is a problem, right? Because it just means that we're separating ourselves from the human experience.
And it's the things that you see when people are really open and comfortable with each other, is that they can joke and they can have fun and they can be unserious sometimes. That's sort of the hallmark of if you want to call it psychological safety, I guess, go nuts, but of a group that can have conversations and just fuck off a little bit, right? And not feel bad when somebody goes, look, bro, that's fucking stupid. We should probably not throw a hammer at the triple expanding foam.
Like, as long as we don't die, it's going to be a great story to tell, right?
But did you die?
But I think that's right. I said a couple of times in a few talks, those talks that Ron gives at conferences and things like that.
About, papers,
like
forthcoming papers,
doing safety for so long, and that, and I sort of said, kind of gives me some interesting stuff to talk to about safety, but I'm not the funnest guy to invite to a barbecue. And yet, so surprised how many people go, like, I don't know what you guys call a barbecue when you're standing around the grill just like cooking meat. We call it a barbecue.
Same.
Barbecue.
If someone pointed out to you when you're standing there and go, oh, that guy over there, he's a safety manager, you should go talk to them. How many people would fucking run in the other direction, right?
Yeah, like, oh, cool.
Be a fun conversation.
Or there's always that stuff like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have put lighter fluid on the fire. I'm like, dude, more lighter fluid, probably.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Like,
so Ben, if we get you a shirt that says like I'm the safety officer, or I can wear a shirt that goes I'm with safety with an arrow pointing to you, maybe get harassed by those mountain lions in Golden anymore.
But like even
good plan. I like that shirt idea, by the way.
I'm with safety. With the arrow.
That actually is pretty cool.
That's a fucking shirt. Let's go on the road.
I don't know if you have this issue in Australia, and Ben, I don't know if you've experienced this here, but like I have a hard time often telling people or having people understand even what I do.
Oh yeah.
And when I try to explain it to them, like,
it gets worse when Ron tries to explain.
It does. It often ends up, I find it fucking easier sometimes just to say, yeah, like OSHA compliance. Like,
oh God,
just nothing I do, but like at least people can relate to it because like they just don't get the other, safety is not associated with something that is positive, useful, and meaningful to their life.
Yeah.
So many cones.
I mean, if we brought cones, maybe.
So many cones. I do feel like, Dave, is this made up? I mean, there's a lot of shit. Australia and New Zealand seem
Most
to...
of the shit in this podcast is made up.
Okay.
And the other shit's just straight out lies.
I mean, there is a lot. You read a lot coming out of Australia and New Zealand. Not to combine the two, but sort of regionally. Maybe it's because you guys are islands. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but it's sort of more forward thinking about safety and some of the branding around
No.
some of those things. It was more fun, or is more fun than anything that's ever shown up here.
Look, I think no is the answer to that.
Wait, I mean, no, it's not made up, or no, that's...
No, you're not right. No, look,
okay. No, I knew that.
Look, it's just a shit over here, right? Like there's a few companies that have probably produced some interesting cartoons around safety, but you guys have got Southwest Airlines doing the rap song version of the in-flight safety briefing and things like that, right? So sure. There's a few interesting things that go on, but for the most part, it's just the same old shit, right? And in fact, it's probably worse. Like Australia's a super nanny state, right? Like Australia, like we just banned social media for anyone under 16. You can't drink alcohol in public. Like Australia's more rules and compliance than I reckon pretty much anywhere else. Well, maybe with the exclusion of North Korea, but pretty much anywhere else in the in the world, right? So you mentioned that you do health and safety in Australia, and I know you're going to get beat up just as much as anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not once we get you that shirt.
Which is so fucking like when I did my PhD and wrote all my papers. First way,
took a while. Took a while to get to it, but we got there.
I wasn't sitting around being so fucking.
I never get to talk about my PhD, by the way. So,
you have one?
Bayesian networks? Is that episode 23?
Fuck you. Bayesian networks. Thank you. At least Dave knows what it was. Dave knows what it was, and that's why we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Nice segue. But anyway, so the idea that the simplest idea is there is a role in organizations, no thanks to Ron, but there's a role in organizations that's fucking dedicated to keeping people safe. Like it exists for
Strongly disagree.
Sorry?
Just kidding. Go ahead.
But there's a role in the organization that exists for no other reason than keeping people safe, right? Like that's the entire purpose of this entire role, entire function. And we've got people in the organization that probably for the most part don't want to die on any given day while they're at work, right? And so when you think about this group of employees that don't want to die and this group of people that are there for the sole purpose of keeping people safe, why do people fucking hate us? Like it's like, and then you go, the safety department's coming around to visit today. Why aren't people going, oh, this is fucking awesome. This is my fucking chance to talk to a few cool cats about what's going on, maybe raise a couple of issues, maybe get a bit of shit sorted out. It's just like, holy fuck, how do I hide in the bathroom while these people are here? So it's just bizarre to me that this thing that we do in safety doesn't connect with people. And I think it's this topic, right? Because we're not human and fucking interesting and fun enough for people to want to spend time with.
I mean, with the exception of the three of us.
I mean, yeah, clearly.
Who people, at least 6 people want to spend time listening to.
Listening to us.
I mean, it
being
was
around us.
Yeah. Watching the numbers dwindle.
But
I did use, by the way, I did use today, don't be fucking lazy, Dave, which I think you'd be pretty psyched about. I used that in context today.
Oh, nice.
All right. Now, even better challenge between now and the next episode is to use the 0 fucks given.
Fuck safety, make money.
Oh, that's our lover of zero shirt, 0 fucks given. But
lover of zero edition of the singlet.
I've got that somewhere.
I mean, we're obviously bagging a lot on like the kind of traditional safety perspectives, but I want to also bring in to the conversation our ability to bag on other perspectives. But
Why not?
no,
Why not?
even like Hop and those kinds of things where they talk about adaptations and stuff like that, which is good, and I think it's productive, and we need to get there. But a lot of times the adaptation discussion is all around functionality or utility, like how this is helpful to the task or helpful to um, the organization. But I think it's worth exploring that sometimes there's adaptations that are actually beneficial to the individual because they create some sense of joy, purpose, meaning
Yeah.
in the work. And yeah, sometimes that can create conflicts and there's some complexity there, but like that is a normal thing, and B, it's actually kind of a good thing, in a vacuum. Yes,
Yeah.
it can create problems, but like it's to me it's worth bringing into the conversation that like it doesn't have to be serious. Sometimes people can do stuff because that's just the fun way to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe if that doesn't hurt anybody, maybe that's good, and let's support that.
And if you're going to be serious about something, and I don't even like, how do you judge seriousness? But I do feel like the three of us probably agree on being really serious about learning.
Mhm.
And I don't mean learning that can't be fun. I just mean like I'm seriously committed to yeah, I want to learn about what you do because I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I think
And
you just hit on something that's really important too, that like there does seem to be a trade-off that there is implied here that being serious means you're not having fun. Like,
yeah.
and I'm not sure that actually when you said that about learning, like, yeah, I'm serious about learning, but you can make it fun.
Yeah.
So is
Let's
there
talk to
actually a trade-off
Steve
here?
Harvey. Hashtag not that Steve Harvey.
Oh,
The dude's pretty serious
I was
about
like
having
Family
fun.
Feud guy. What the fuck?
No. Well, he's probably
Jesus Christ.
serious about it too. Can I tell you, I meant to say this earlier, but I was thinking about it because I can see the thing now. These fuckers over here have a snow thrower, like a rotary plow, like a snow blower that you drive. This fucking thing, it's got a 500 horsepower drive motor and an 800 horsepower motor for the blower. This
Jesus.
fucking thing throws snow to Mars. It's fucking awesome. And it's super shiny. And yeah, and I was like, can I drive
How do
it?
we get that
Yeah,
on the
and
merch
he's
store?
I don't know. I don't know. I was like, can I drive it? Fuck, no, you can't fucking drive it. Can I ride in it? They're like, I mean, someone could ride in it. We're not sure we want you to ride in it.
Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
triple expanding foam. Yeah, we're gonna let you
so
ride it.
fuck.
Ben's got these.
800 horsepower snowblower. So good.
Oh, Ben's like going, can you imagine if I took this down the mall? Just
Oh, just down the edge of a runway, just ping, ping,
snow,
all the lights.
snow for
Just,
everyone.
oh, so good.
Oh, that's fantastic.
This is cool. They do cool stuff.
But
And they're probably serious about it, but they did appear to be enjoying what they were doing. So I told them all to stop.
This is a stop work. I've noticed. I
Yeah.
saw you smiling.
But isn't that some of it? I think people have to like they have to demonstrate seriousness, by making faces and telling people what they can't do. And Dave, I think it's such a good point to come back to that like parent-child relationship
yeah,
of not laughing when your kids do something weird or
yeah,
funny is so strange to me. And these aren't kids; these fully formed, at least chronological adults that we work with, right? They made it this far without our dumbasses telling them what to do, and somehow, the safety industry, has convinced itself that they need us to live to tomorrow.
yeah.
They
The,
just they just don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
the fun police. I like. I, I fucking don't mind that for a shirt either. I'm a fully formed, at least
Chronologically.
chronologically, I'm a fully formed chronological adult.
I mean, it's sort of the right caveats. Right?
I can wake up tomorrow without your fucking help.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll be all right.
The fun police. You know who talks about the fun police is Rob Long.
Yes.
Dr. Schlong.
Doctor Dr. Schlong talks about, when safety becomes the fun police, I think he says it's lost the plot. So I think we found a point of wild agreement with our number one fan.
That guy, we like that's the thing that drives me nuts. I'm not going to get into it. That's the whole other
It's
podcast.
okay, but
But there's a fucking guy who doesn't have any fun, right?
Probably.
which
But
is it's such a bummer because that's such a cool thing to think about, right? When you're the fun police, when you're the sort of arbiter of everything right, you've lost the fucking plot. And there's this moral responsibility to just shut the fuck up, learn, see work being done, ask good questions. And I think Dr. Schlong is correct.
Well, and I think it's
in all of those things.
It's sort of a dichotomy between, it kind of relates to something you were saying earlier about like, are we needed? Like, am I necessary to make it so that you don't die? Versus,
you already covered
am
this.
Am I helpful? Like, am I actually helping the people to get the work done, be successful, live the life they want to live, and creating the conditions for that. I may not be necessary, but I can be useful. And that to me seems like a better way to look at it. I'm totally unnecessary.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ron's crushing this job interview.
I think there's
okay. Conditions been that's fine. I'll be over here.
You're right. There's a quote that I like. I think it was from I think it was a Ryan Reynolds line in the Van Wilder movie or something. Or
the philosopher.
No, the idea of it, don't take life too seriously. You'll never come out alive, right? Like it's
I think that's Ferris Bueller.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I think you're right, actually.
I'll get one thing.
Yeah.
You're the fun police fan. It's like, oh, fucking, I don't think that's.
Oh, actually,
I don't think that's the right person. Oh, wow.
You're welcome.
Good role play. Thanks.
Is it like says the guy whose whole other podcast is the fun police? Like, oh, that does not what the evidence says. Like,
oh, you like audits? Fuck you. Risk matrix? Wrong.
Idiot.
Guilty.
I'm gonna get him a hat.
Fucking hell. But anyway, but I think so. You mentioned briefly before, Ben, you sort of threw the psychological safety word out there, right? And I think at the end of the day, in health, any of our four listeners, if you're in health and safety roles, so not you, Ron, is at the unemployment line. But at the end of the day, your entire success of your role is based on the insight and information you have about your business, right? And the only way you get that insight and information is from people telling you shit. And so, you really got to sort of think about, do people want to tell me stuff? And that's just a basic human to human connection piece, right? And if you rock up straight jacket, like the average safety, or, like the safety person, people aren't going to tell you shit, right? And then you're not going to be very good at your job.
Boom, mic drop.
Whereas if Ben walks up to a group of workers and goes, let me tell you a fucking story about the time I tried to run over some triple expanding foam in a forklift. Like you use that as the safety moment in your next meeting, and you're going to have everyone fucking lean into the topic, right? Not because they fucking care more about safety, not because they want to go home with their kids, just because you're saying something fucking remotely interesting.
Yeah.
And the good news is, I've been stupid for a long time, so there's a lot of good stories.
I'm
not just
sentence belongs in the past tense.
You have as many stories as Dave has papers.
I've been stupid for a long time. That's what I said.
Continue to be.
Continue.
Will be.
Look, if I took this more seriously, that wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't even be having this discussion, would we?
Yeah.
I just sold my motorcycle too.
I was silly once, but then
you just got sober.
But then I saw the light, and I leaned into the safety religion. I sold my motorbike, and now I'm a better human, and I can help you be a better human too.
It's funny. I mean, you say that sort of jokingly, but there's a lot of those meetings, right? Where you just plug a different word in here or there. It's like, look, man, there's no joking around on this job. You're like, no, there fucking is. When you're not in the room, everybody talks again.
Oh, it's
know?
like the Netflix book on the no rules rule.
Oh
Whatever
yeah.
on the Netflix organization. They talk about how to run an organization and have
Oh,
fun,
yeah.
trust people, um let people make decisions. And the only rule is do the right thing by the company, and that's it. And no expenses policies and none of this. And then the last two pages go, this is how you run a company, except for safety. You can't run safety like that. You have to have rules and processes and compliance to run safety. But every other aspect of business and life in general, you're better off managing it in a different way. Right. So that's, I think, at the heart of this. You're laughing, Ron. You've read that. You've read those pages, haven't you?
It's bullshit. Yeah. And I think,
don't have a
and
job.
in talking to some of the people in Netflix since then, I think they're starting to recognize that that's actually bullshit. And, yeah, you need constraints in some areas, but that's not that's not like how safety should be managed.
But it's not even constraints. It's like even that word and that language, it's just helping people to work through better ways of navigating certain situations. Like that's not constraints. It's just
Yeah.
helping
It
us all
can include some, but that's not the main goal. That's not what we do, is what I'd say.
constraints or restraints. Again, what's happening in your bedroom, Ron?
I'll tell you what it is. It's cones.
It's
You
cones.
assholes. The
Ron's
sooner
off.
you get
It's
that
just
through you.
cones and restraints.
That's it.
Lock them up.
Get the risk assessment.
Story of Ron's life. Yeah, that's it.
So is there a shirt anywhere in this episode? I think I'm with safety with that. I
I'm
think
with safety. I like
I'm with
that one.
safety instead of the I'm with stupid shirt is a cracking shirt.
Yep.
I like that.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Especially because safety can't be managed like any other human enterprise.
No.
It has
It's
to be
so
awful. I think
unique.
my quote from the day was if rules were gonna save the world, they've had their fucking chance.
Ooh, yeah, that hasn't come up yet. Did I black out while that quote came?
No,
Up in the,
that was in the little workshop we were doing today. And I think that may have prompted some other thinking about whether I was serious enough about, because if you're serious, you want more rules and a bigger manual, and all these sort of weird artifacts of caring, caring enough to do menial bullshit work that doesn't do anything. Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know when I've solved this sort of in my own head. I still haven't resolved how I should have answered that question. So how would okay, so we talked about it for a little while. So how do you answer it? Somebody says, "Don't you think you don't take safety seriously enough?" And something tells me the people that listen to this podcast are probably that demographic, right? That someone might say that too, especially when they're wearing their fuck safety make money slides.
I'm so excited for those.
I mean, I think I'd just sort of say, look, I take a lot of things in life seriously, and when it comes to my work, I'm most focused on connecting with people. And to connect well with people in my organization, I've got to be real and I've got to be authentic. And I don't stop being myself just because I'm the safety guy, right? So
Yeah.
I don't turn up and go, show me your JSA. I turn up and say, oh, don't driven any
Show me
forklifts,
your take five.
driven any forklifts over any cans of triple expanding foam in the last week. Because let me tell you a fucking story. Like, again, like people are going to forget what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel, right?
Yeah.
It's a Mary Angley quote, but you can fucking fact check me on that, Ben, if you want
to. Fuck off.
Fucking quote police over here.
Yeah.
No,
It's a
that's the way
questionable.
that's the way I'd answer that, right? Like adopting this persona because you think that that's what's required for a safety job is going to make you a pretty fucking important safety person.
And people are smart enough to know. They're smart
Yeah.
enough to know when you're full of shit.
Because they're chronological
100%.
adults.
Chronological adults. Yes.
How would you answer it, Ron? This might be an interview question for your next job.
No, I just got an email for a second interview for fry cook at the local Mickey D's, so I might be good.
Mickey D's.
Yeah, buddy, I'm
They
working
call
at
that
it.
Macca's.
I might be shift manager in 6 months.
We call that we call that Macca's. Ron's fucking working for tips.
Just the tip.
No,
Just the tip.
Just that's a little, like how like some podcasts have like a little interim one that's like a shorter one. It's like, just the tip.
Yeah, I think if we were
Punk rock safety, just the tip.
Oh, come on. Nothing about this episode has gone well. If we were a little more serious about it, we'd have done better for sure.
So I'm gonna have to grow the beard back and grow up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about time.
It's the proper gravity.
That's how you'd answer that then, Ron. Like if someone asked you like how to take it.
I'd make some kind of penis joke, really. No,
it's how
it's the same. It's a similar sort of thing as you. I mean, I don't know about the exact wording, and probably would depend on the situation, but what strikes me is that how do you gauge my level of seriousness? What are you using to measure that? Because I believe I take safety sufficiently seriously. And B, how are we?
This is a really sexy answer.
I know.
This is like people seriously.
love talking.
And B, Roman numeral.
If you look at point 2 on my slide here,
how's Ron going straight to the? Well, let's start talking about performance metrics, right? Which is like, on average, how many per million hours worked have I not taken safety seriously? Show me the graph.
Show me, bitch. But like how is their definition of seriousness related to making the organization safer? At the end of the day, like, because I think what I'm doing is designed to help improve the organization, improve people's lives, support them, etc.
I think is the right tense for that.
Was basically, yeah.
But I think that's it, right? Like, I mean, I think that's the central point, right? Like, with the care more, try harder, right? Like, this is care more, try harder, take safety more seriously, right? It's all part of the same group of ideas that doesn't translate into anything meaningful and useful in the organization. Yes, I've got to prioritize safety enough to make it important, but only for the purpose of that translating into actions that I take. Right. So fuck whether you take safety seriously or not. What are you doing about it? And focus and evaluate people based on what they do, not on whether you assume whether they care or not. Like, it's like the story that I told at the start. Like, if you think that safety in an organization is based on whether or not people in the management team ride a motorcycle, like, you're fucking clutching at straws, right? You are seriously
yeah.
That could not be any more removed from physical risk in the organization.
Well, and making it look like you care, I think, is really what that speaks to.
Yep.
And people know when you're full of shit. That's safety masturbation.
Oh, I remember. And I still hear it. I've heard that this
year. It's not the real thing, but it feels like it.
I've heard it this year, like from someone talk about the safety department. So, like, that person cares about safety. They live just down the road from me, and I see them mowing they're cutting their grass on the weekend, and they're wearing their high visibility and their steel cap boots and their whatever. I don't know about you guys, but I cut the grass wearing thongs, right? Like, so,
I bet you do.
That does not
That means
translate.
something different.
That
Yes.
that does
Yes.
not- I mean, thongs, right? Just not,
Oh yeah.
not.
For those people who are not watching the YouTube, Dave just showed us his thong.
Yeah, it's like it basically looks like. Well, when I had a beard, it basically Borat, right? Just picture Borat in your head.
It's nice.
Mankini.
full mankini style. But no, but
Yes.
that's the point, right? Like, that person is a good safety person because I've seen them mowing their lawn wearing personal protective equipment, right? They clearly take safety seriously. Not just while they're at work. Like that is literally the narrative that we hear, right? And it's bullshit because you can run over triple expanding foam. You can even, headbutt some cutwater cans. You can still be a good safety person.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, we've just talked about good organizations just murdering people too, is what Dave's point was. It's just a fatality.
Didn't say, I didn't say you should murder people. I said just don't get so hung up over a fatality.
Quit crying.
Same.
Why do you got to be a little bitch about it?
Suck it up, okay? Just wade through the blood of a few injured workers.
Yeah,
that's
the price you pay.
Cost of doing business.
Yeah, you can't.
You heard it. You heard it here from Dave Proven.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right? Like that's just
it. That's it.
It's just life.
Oh, fuck me.
Did we solve it?
Oh boy. I think we're closer.
Yeah, look, I think there's a few important takeaways. One is don't let anyone in your organization know if you like to ride motorcycles or do anything dangerous. Beware.
Too late now.
Beware of what goes on in Ron's bedroom is another good one. And I guess the third takeaway is whatever you do, just make sure there's lots of cones.
So much cones.
So many cones.
Yeah, and that Dave mows the lawn in a thong.
Well, there's a bonus takeaway, right? So,
maybe the real takeaway is whether you call it seriousness or not, or if it's designed to make it look like you care, that's not safety. That if the work isn't changing and the risk isn't changing, fuck off and figure it out, man. And it takes learning from people to do that. And I don't know. Is that that sounded way too serious? So
yeah, you should fucking lighten up, dude.
It's good. It's good to know that you're a safe person.
Sorry. Yeah. I'll see what I can find to run over with that 800 horsepower blower.
Yes, I need pictures.
Oh, can you imagine? You could put that's a YouTube channel by itself. Just get in the front of it and just be
just into fucking orbit. Oh, there goes the dog.
I'll bring it. No, come on. I'll bring it up before I leave.
Yes. Yeah. See if you can get some worker who's prepared to stand in front of it with their hard hat on. Just like, can you just stand there for a moment?
Yes.
Cool. All right, dude. Awesome. Saturday morning, I got shit to do.
All right. Later.
I'm gonna start growing this beard. And
that's step one.
Please.
The things that I fucking, like I said, some of us still fucking have jobs and have to work hard. Hands up if you got a job, Ron. Not so fast.
Oh shit! I just got this email. A meeting with HR just got put in.
Excellent. Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah.
Happy non-denominational holidays to our 6 listeners.
Happy New Year's, bitches.
New Year's. That's right. We've passed it now. So sweet.
Cool. All right, dudes.